I'm Steve Tassi, the Board Game Guru, and welcome to part 2 of my tutorial for King's Dilemma by Horrible Games. Hopefully you've already watched part 1 of my tutorial where I discuss all the components, so you'll be familiar with the pieces and know what I'm talking about. If not, pause this video, go watch that one, and come on back. I promise I'll wait for you. Setup for King's Dilemma. Each player is going to need the chosen screen of their family, a set of voting cards, starting power of 8, and starting money of 10. One of the secret agenda cards has already been set aside, and the players will select one each from the remaining. Our resource tokens have been shaken and placed on the center of the board. The scale token is on the center of the scale track. The open agenda tiles are at the ready, so if this is not your first game, it is possible that some of those will be assigned. We have our consequence tokens down at the bottom near the voting area. We have our starting pool of 3 power, and of course, we have spare power and coins set aside, ready for use. Now, the player with the lowest prestige, or in the case of your first game, the lowest family house number, is going to start with the moderator badge, and the player with the most prestige, or in your first game, the highest house number, is going to start with the leader badge. We have our stickers at the ready. We have our starting envelope and the maze tile at the ready. And of course, our map, our mystery stickers, and our rule book are off to the side within easy reach for player reference and should they be needed. The resource tokens were randomly determined which ones would be black side up with the negative momentum or white side up with the positive momentum. If this is not your first game, you will take a look at any stickers that are on the board. You will give each one of them a check mark to indicate the passage of time. And whoever has the most positive stickers will start the game with a bonus of 2 extra power, and whoever has the most negative stickers will start the game at a loss of 2 power, so they'll only have 6 to start with. In addition, the stickers will indicate the beginning assignment of open agenda. So if you have the most recent positive agenda for a resource, you will get the open agenda token for that particular resource. Similarly, if you have the most recent negative one, for a resource, you will start with the negative open agenda token for that particular resource. No player is allowed to have more than 2 positive or 2 negative open agenda tokens at the start of a game. The momentum tokens are set aside, ready for use. It is possible that story cards in play will affect that starting setup, but that is how the game is set up for the first time you play, and assuming that there are no story differences or family achievements that have been met that will affect that startup. Some of the achievements that your house can do will allow you to start the game with extra power or extra money, that sort of thing. So be aware that the basic setup of the game will change as the game plays out and more story cards and achievements come into play. The first thing that is going to happen before you can play, once everything is set up, is the selection of the secret agenda cards. The player with the gavel will take the 5 secret objective cards, and they will pick the one that best suits their needs for this game. They will place it behind their screen, and they will pass the remaining cards to the next player. Now, while the next player is selecting which one they want, the player will mark down which secret agenda objective they have done. And at the end of the game, if that was the 4th time they've done that one, well then they will score either prestige or crave, depending on which objective it was, which family they are. So each player will choose one secret objective, and they will mark down on their screen. Now we are ready to really get going. In the first time you play, you are going to open up envelope 00, or in this case, since I have the demo scenario that is only available at conventions, envelope D1. There is a story card in here. The story cards are marked by the story symbols that appear on the spaces on one side of the board. This story card would be read out loud to the table, and then it gets placed on top of the pile of the corresponding symbol. The dilemma cards that were also in the envelope get shuffled and placed under the maze tile. And we are ready for our very first dilemma. Dilemmas are what this game is all about, as the name implies. Every round is a dilemma getting revealed, read out loud, and then voted on. Our first dilemma gets revealed. The text is read out loud, and we see that there are some consequences. So we look for the consequence tokens. We need positive well-being and negative morale. That goes on the I side of the vote. And then on the nay side, we see negative sticker and negative authority. So what this means is that we know if we vote yes to this situation, the kingdom's well-being is going to go up and the kingdom's morale is going to drop. And if we vote no to this, to the solution to this problem, then our authority is going to drop, and whoever has the most power in the nay side of the vote, therefore becoming the leader of that side, they will put a negative sticker on the board. We don't know which one yet, so we don't know which resource that sticker will belong to, but we know that someone is going to put a negative sticker on the board. Now, negative stickers aren't inherently bad for the game. You just don't really want to be the person whose name gets signed to them. So that's a thing to consider. Also, it's not so bad to sign your name to a negative sticker as long as someone else has more negative stickers on the board. So that also is something to think about. Now, how does the voting work? This is the heart of the game. We start with whoever has the leader token. They are going to begin the voting process. Discussion is welcome and recommended before the vote actually begins, but that's social. That's metagame. That is just talking about which things you would like to have happen, which way you think people should vote. Bribery is encouraged during discussion. So you may bribe people with money from behind your screen in order to get them to vote your way. You don't have to spend money to bribe someone, but you are not allowed to spend power directly. I cannot bribe someone by saying, I will give you 2 units of power if you vote my way. That's not allowed. But you can offer money. You can offer promises of allegiance in the future. But only if money changes hands is the offer binding. So if I say that I'm going to give you 2 coin in order to get you to vote my way in this particular dilemma, and you accept, I give you the money, and now you must vote my way according to the terms that we agreed on. But here's how voting works. When it is your turn to act, we start with the player with the leader button and then go clockwise around the table. The leader will do one of 3 things. They will place power on either the I card in front of their screen or the nay card in front of their screen, indicating that they support that side of the choice, or they will declare that they are passing. If they pass, they take $1 from the bank and they place it on their pass card, indicating they were too busy dealing with their own personal holdings in order to be paying attention to this particular meeting. That has earned them some money because they've been managing their estates or making backroom deals, whatever. But they are not participating in this particular vote. When you pass, not only do you get 1 coin from the bank, but you have a choice to declare. And that is that you are passing for power or passing for the moderator gavel. If you say that you are passing for power, you leave the gavel with whoever currently has it, and at the end of the vote, you are going to get a cut of the power that is currently in the power pool. If you choose that you want to pass for the gavel, you take the gavel, place it on your pass card, and this indicates that no one else is allowed to pass for the gavel because the gavel has already changed hands once this turn. You don't get a cut of the power if you take the gavel, but you now have the gavel, and the person with the gavel gets to break ties. So if the vote is split, then whoever is the moderator, they are going to get to decide which way the vote ends up going. If you actually put power on the table, you are supporting that side of the cause and you are risking losing that power. Only the winning side of a vote spends the power that they have put up. The losing side gets to take their voting power back behind their screens. So in this case, the leader likes the yes vote, so they are going to put 2 power on the I card. So they're voting yes. Because no one else has more power on one of their voting cards, the leader button stays with this person. Then the next player in line will get to vote aye, vote nay, or pass. If that person adds more power than the current leader has, then that person becomes the new leader and the leader badge will pass. So we'll say that this person thinks that they should vote no, and so they vote no with 3 points worth of their power. They're going to take the leader badge and now they are in charge. The next player chooses to pass for power. The next player chooses to pass for the gavel. And then the final player who has not acted yet decides that they like the I side. And so they are going to put 2 power on the I side. They have now made the I side winning. So it's 4 power I, 3 power nay. Because they only put 2 power on the board, though, they do not become the leader because this person still has the most individual power committed to the vote. Now, even though this player acted first, because they're no longer the leader, they're going to get to act again. The vote is over when the player to the right of the leader button has had their final opportunity to act. So if that leader button bounces around a lot because people are constantly dumping more power into the vote, then people will get to act more and more times. If the leader button never changes, then everybody gets to act once. So this player gets to act again, and they have, when you get a second opportunity to act, you do not get to change your vote. You can't be like, oh, no, actually, I changed my mind. I don't want to vote yes anymore. I want to vote no. That's not allowed. The only thing you can do is hold your vote where it is or increase the amount of power you want to put into the vote. That's something that you would do if your side is losing and you would like it not to lose. Or if your side might be winning, but as is the current case, the yes vote is winning, but these 2 players are tied for how much power they have contributed to the vote, which would make the moderator the person who decides which one of them is officially the leader and therefore responsible for the outcome of this vote. This player decides that they would really like to be the leader, so what they're going to do is they're going to increase their power bid up to 3. That means that they are now the leader of their side, but they are not technically the leader of this vote at the moment because they have not played more power than the person who currently has the leader button. So everyone has acted. There are no more chances to act again because the player to the right of the leader button has taken their final voting action. And so now we determine which side is in fact winning. It is, in this case, the I side. So all of the people who voted no, they're going to take their power and put it back behind their screen. And the leader button is going to be given to the player on the winning side of the vote who put the most power in. That's this player. Now, we are going to find out what the consequences of this particular vote are. But before we do that, the players who passed for power, that is this player right here, are going to get to split the current power pool. So that is 3 power. Only one of them passed for power, so that player is going to take the 3 power, put it behind their screen, and also take the coin that they got for passing. This player, who is currently now the moderator, will also get to take their coin and put it behind their screen. Now, the power spent by the winning side goes into the power pool for the next vote. And now we're going to find out what the consequences are. These cards are designed so that if you are the person reading them and the vote was I, you're going to flip the card like so, revealing information and icons. However, if the vote ended up being a nay vote, you will flip like so, indicating different information and different icons. In this case, the vote was I, so the player is going to turn it over, and they will read out the text box, and they will find out just exactly how far the different resources are going to move. In this case, morale goes down by 2, and well-being goes up by 2. But both of those resources have momentum in the direction that this card is indicating that they should go, which means they're going to go 1 extra space. So morale goes down by 2, 1, 2, plus an extra for momentum, and because it just moved in the direction it has momentum, it gains a little more momentum, and the next time it goes down, it will go down 2 extra spots. Similarly, well-being goes up by 2 according to the card, plus an extra 1 for its momentum, and it gains positive momentum, meaning the next time it goes up, it is going to go up an extra 1. This card is then slotted in here, showing the results of the vote. If we had voted nay, it would go in like so. Every time there's a dilemma, the dilemma card will fill the next slot on the board, and eventually we are going to get to the end of the game through dilemmas. The scale marker moves every time a resource token moves, but because there was parity of motion, it would just go back to where it was because it moved down 3 because of morale dropping, but it moved up 3 because of well-being going up. Remember, the game can end in 2 possible ways. Number 1, a dilemma card with a skull on it is slotted into the last space. Or number 2, the scale tips on one side or the other and the king abdicates. King dead, king abdicates. Either one of those situations causes the game to come to an end. But since neither have happened yet, we begin another dilemma. We draw one off the bottom. It gets read out. The consequence tokens get placed, and a vote is held. That is how the game is played. Now, if a dilemma result tells you that you have to stick a sticker on the board, then you're going to find the appropriate numbered sticker according to the instructions. The player who is responsible, so the leader of the winning side of the vote, will sign the sticker, peel off the back, and stick it to an empty slot on the appropriate resource track. So this, for example, is a morale sticker, so it would go in an empty morale spot. If there are no empty spots, then you look to see which is the oldest sticker of that resource type, and that one gets covered over. So the one with the most check marks on the sticker. If there is a tie for the most check marks, well, ties are decided by the moderator. So whoever has that gavel is going to decide which of the stickers gets replaced. Stickers appearing on the board have no immediate effect, but they will change things that happen during setup of the next game. Remember, if you have the most positive or negative stickers, you will start the game with more or less power than you normally would. And if you have the most recent sticker for a particular resource type, you will get the open agenda tile for the positive or the negative of that resource, depending on which type of sticker it was. When the game comes to an end, we score to see who wins the game and earns prestige points, who loses and earns crave, and who comes in the middle and earns a little bit of prestige and a little bit of crave. The end of the game will be determined by either death of the king or the abdication of the king. And that actually matters for some of the secret agendas. There is a chart on page 33 of the rules. And we take a look and we see, did the king die? In that case, we're going to use this chart here. Or did the king abdicate? In which case, we're going to use this chart, and it will depend on which side of the scale was reached. So the player who wins usually gets prestige, but if there was an abdication of the right sort, the winner will get prestige and crave. In fact, the abdication will cause everyone to get prestige and crave. If the king dies, then the people in the top two spots are going to get prestige. The people in the mid two spots are going to get prestige and crave. And then the person with the lowest score is going to get just some crave. So how do you score? Well, there are a number of things that get scored to determine who is the actual winner of the game. And that is all on starting on page 30 of the rules. The first thing that you do is you look at everyone's secret agenda cards and compare the location of all the resource tokens on the resource market to what they wanted to accomplish. For example, the moderate would like everything to be in the middle zone between 13 and 5. In this case, they all are. So this person gets 14 victory points for having achieved that portion. They will also compare how much money they have. The player with the most money will get the #1 award for their objective. The objective numbers are different. You'll notice that if you're the opportunist, you'll make 6 victory points if you have more money than anyone else, whereas the moderator only gets 5 victory points for having more money than anyone else. You score your objective card based on where the resources are. You score based on having first, second, or third most money left over. The player with the most unused power accumulated will get 2 extra victory points, and the player with the second most unused power will get 1 victory point added to their score. Players who did not reach the second highest amount of power get nothing. Scoring open agendas, you will earn victory points for the positive agendas that you have, and you could lose victory points for the negative agendas that you have. If you have a positive open agenda for a resource and it is the most valuable resource on the market, you will get 3 extra victory points. If it is the second highest on the market, you will get 1 extra victory point. Similarly, if you have the negative open agenda for a resource, you will lose 3 points if it is the weakest resource on the market, and you will lose 1 point if it is the second weakest resource on the market. That is how you score, and whoever has the highest gets the first place award, whoever has the second highest gets the second place award, and so on down the list. If there are ties for scores, then both players or all the players that are tied at that level will receive the appropriate reward for that score. Once you know what your score is for Prestige and Crave, you will mark those down on your family screen. Also be sure during the game to tick off any achievements that you made during play. Achievements come in 3 different types. You'll see the downward arrow symbol, which means as soon as you have done that achievement, you receive the reward. You have the exclamation point symbol. That is for an achievement that unlocks a power you have for the rest of the game, and that power is described in the text box. And then we have the star symbol, and that means that from now on, at setup, you will gain whatever is shown. So in this case, you gain 2 extra money during setup. So you would start with 12 coin instead of the normal 10. During play, you may be called upon as the result of a dilemma or story card to affix a mystery sticker to the board. There are several different mystery stickers. There are 12 of them. Once the 6th mystery sticker has been attached to the board, that means that the game you are currently in is the last game of the entire campaign. The mystery stickers will inform you as to the value of Crave versus Prestige for calculating who is the overall winner of the campaign. Some story cards will have in-game effects on them. When a story card is placed on top of its corresponding story pile, its effect, if any, is in play. As soon as another story card covers over that one, the effect of the old story card is no longer in use. At the end of a game, any unused dilemma cards are going to go into your save slot on the insert, and they will start your game for the next time you play. In addition, you're going to keep the top story card for each of the different story symbols in that save slot as well, and they will get placed back out on the board at the start of your next game. And that is how you play The King's Dilemma. Thanks for watching. I'm Steve Tassi, the Board Game Guru.